Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Tasty Tidbits Podcast. Get ready to receive rich, well-seasoned, and tasteful tidbits to transform your life. Each week, Dr. Tiffany comes to you with inspirational encouragement and thought-provoking interviews to help you revolutionize your walk with God. Are you hungry for more of His presence? Then get ready. And now, your host, pastor, author, and motivational speaker, Dr. Tiffany Watkins.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to Tasty Tidbits. I am your host, Dr. Tiffany Watkins. I am so excited again to have Regina back with us again. We talked about on our previous episode, we were talking about our singleness and how to stand in our truth and just being able to hear God in our relationship with Him. And so if you missed that episode, you need to go back and get that episode and just listen in and let it bless you. But on today, we are back again. Hi, Regina. How are you doing today?
Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for having me back. I enjoy your show, so I'm glad to be back. So thank you again.
Amen. I want to tell the listeners a little bit about you. And Regina, okay. She was born in Harlem, New York, and raised in Mount Vernon, New York. And she was also in, is that Teaneck, New Jersey?
Teaneck, yes.
Yeah.
Teaneck.
Okay. And so, but now she resides in Winterville, North Carolina with her 3 children. And she is the founder of Regina Smithwick Enterprises. And she's the professional organizer, a certified life coach, and a creator of the Let's Talk, which is a talk show / podcast. And she's also a motivational speaker and an author. And I'm going to have her to tell a little bit about the book so you guys can know a little bit about it. It's about her adoption, and you'll be able to hear a little bit more about that. But she also attended Virginia State University with a Master's of Science degree in Organizational Leadership from the National University. And she is also a proud member of the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So again, welcome, Regina. And we're just so glad to have you on today. I'm honored to have you here today. And thank you for just being a part again, because I just love your spirit. You're just real. And I believe in the body of Christ, you have to be real, no fake and phony, just telling it like it is, because that's what's going to help people, not trying to cover up, not trying to hide, but just being transparent so that you can help somebody else. And I really believe that.
That comes with you loving yourself. When you love yourself, you could be transparent because you're over yourself. It's not about you no more. You're over yourself. The ego moves out the way, and you're able to be that vessel that God asked you to be, because those testimonies, turn into testimonies, and you're just supposed to tell those. That means that you're over yourself.
Yes. And so, the last episode, we talked about just being yourself and walking in your purpose. And you were talking about being adopted and having to go through things, and even being in a relationship and having a mental breakdown. And you had to realize your purpose. Let's talk about, when did you realize your purpose?
My spiritual life coach, Melissa Nobles, she is amazing. She changed my life, like literally. Her coaching, the way she handled it, and it's a spiritual coaching. So God is all in this coaching. And the book I would say to you that I recommend to anyone that's on your program that is looking for who they are, start with that. If you want to know who you are in this universe and how you, the little old you, makes this universe go around, the book is called 30-Day Mental Diet, and the author name is Willis Kinnear, Kinnear, Willis. This book is a journal, like a devotional kind of journal, but it takes you about 10 minutes a day to do for 30 days. And it breaks you from the beginning of the universe of who you are and how important you are, all the way to just knowing who you are. And I guarantee you, when you finish this book in 30 days, your whole mindset, your mental, your mindset, and your belief system will change. I guarantee you that. Guarantee you. So I do recommend that. That book is what really started. Because see, she knew what she was doing because she used that book first. Because you know how a lot of times you got to break people down to build them up, right? You got to try to get all that out. So you got to get that out, and then you got to rebuild them with the stuff that they need. And this book does that. So that's how I found my purpose. When I did my work, I did my homework, I did my sessions with her. And when I finished doing everything, I was good with me. I felt good. I knew what I needed to do. And everything's always in you. You already have it. Your passion and purpose is in you because we all born with it. God gave us all. We are on this world, we in this earth to help others. That's what we're here for. We're not here to satisfy us. We are here to help others, right? So he gives you those gifts and those talents so you can help other people. But as long as the ego and as long as you're in your way, you're never going to understand what they are, or you don't have that self-esteem issue and stuff, and you think you can't do certain things. And that stops a lot of people from living a passion and purpose because they listening to themselves, they can't do it. And that's one of the things. So when you get all that mental block out the way, then you'll be able to work your passion and your purpose.
Yes, and I was thinking about that when you said that, because it's already in you. What, God already knows it's what you're gifted to do, what you love to do, not what other people say that you should do. Because, so many people have opinions about what you should do. But deep down inside, there's an unction, there's a knowing, there's a calling towards it. You love it, and you have to be able to hear God and be able to be free and walk in it. I remember when I was getting out of high school and I was, getting ready to go to college, and I was going to do nursing because I knew I wanted to help people. I said, I want to do nursing or do social work. And so, but my first calling was social work. I really wanted to do that. I wanted to do sociology, but so many people were like, you're not going to make any money, a lot of money. You need to do nursing, because, you're not going to have a lot of money in it and it's not worth it. And so I ended up going to college and started off doing nursing, and I just could not get the information. And I knew I was smart, I knew it, but it just would not, it would not work. It wouldn't sink in. And I remember talking to my nursing facilitator, and she was like, I know you can do it, but down, I was just crying because I knew deep down inside, but I know I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be doing social work, sociology. And so I just prayed about it, and the Lord said, no, you need to do what what you've been called to do, what you wanted to do, which is, sociology. And so I ended up, after that semester, I changed my major to sociology. And from that time, it was like everything just flowed. Everything was easy because it was what I knew that I wanted to do. And I had to realize it's, if God has called you to it, he's going to take care of you. He's going to provide for you. But you just have to walk into what you know. And that we talked about this in the last episode of standing in your truth, because when you know what God has called you to do and you know your purpose, it flows easy. And you don't have to work for it. You'll work for it, but you'll love to work for it. It won't be a struggle. And when I was doing nursing, it was a struggle because within me, I knew that wasn't what God called me to do. And for the listeners out there, if you're doing anything that you're struggling with, that that's not really a part of who you are and what you desire to do, there's always time to change. It's never too late. You can start over even as you're listening today. And I had to realize that, this is what I was called to do. So you have to begin to walk in what God has called you to do as far as your purpose, because you don't want to regret it later.
When God gives you anything, it's easy and effortlessly. Easily and effortlessly. And like you said, it doesn't say it's not going to be work. Right. The work that you do, like, for example, what you're doing right now, what I do, when I speak, when I write, when I do my podcast, when I do my talk show, it's work. Right. But I love it. I wake up in the middle of the night with ideas, and I'll pop up at 3 a.m. and write it down, and I started looking on the computer, and I started, because it's something that is a passion, a purpose, because I know behind it, I'm helping somebody. Right. That's what keeps us going. let me tell you, Kathy Lee Gifford said this one on her show years ago. She said, you find something that you have a passion for and find out a way to make money doing it, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yes, yes,
And I
yes.
always remember her saying that, and that stuck with me all this time, because she said, that's what I did. I found something I love and found a way to get paid to do it.
Yes, and I think about that when you were saying that, when I was trying to do things, even with my businesses, trying to, get this business together, or trying to, get this business together. And I had so many things. And so I do life coaching as well. And but I tell my clients, I said, even though I'm a life coach, I also have a coach. I have several coaches,
Right.
even though you're a life coach, you still have coaches,
Yeah,
because
you
you're
still
always
need for
growing.
you. Right.
Yes, you're always growing, and you always have to have those that are rooting for you and helping you to get towards your purpose. And so I had to realize that, and I share with my clients that you always have to, always be willing to be coached. You always have to be willing to have somebody there that is pushing you and helping you to get further, in your purpose. And when you realize that, then you'll go further. The
light bulb just clicks.
Yeah. And, I realized too that even in the process of coaching, and like I'm going off a little bit, but I've learned that you got to want to change. I found out that when people get in coaching, they think they want to change until you have to do work, until you have to follow those steps, and you have to follow those goals, because it holds you accountable. And it holds you accountable to the purpose that you said that God had called you to do. And if you really want to be involved in it, if you really want to go through that process, then you're going to have to take some steps to say, this is what I'm going to do. But do you find that as well during your coaching?
Yeah, well, I was so there. I was hungry. I was hungry. So I didn't have that. I was so hungry. I already did that already. I did that when I was doing all that foolishness. So by the time I got to her, I was hungry. And I was like, to this day, she'd be telling like, wow, you was like amazing student. Like and I was like, everything she said, I'm writing it down. Every time she told me to do, I did it. Like, I didn't question anything, because I was so tired of being sick and tired. I was ready for a change. And sometimes people jump on things and they really didn't get to that tired part. Like anything in life, if you're on drugs or alcohol or food addiction, whatever your thing is, a lot of times people want to keep on trying to pull you, but they got to hit their rock bottom, not yours. It got to be their rock bottom. Because sometimes we think, because we feel like, oh, it was me, I'll be ready, No, but it's not you. Everybody has their rock bottom, and they have to hit theirs to be ready to receive, because I have a program that I'm going to be doing in March called Wring Out Your Sponge. It's going to be a workshop. And the purpose of the analogy is, if you have a full sponge of water, how can you receive anything? You have to wring it out to be able to receive new, right? So we got to get all those insecurities out, all those validations out, all that stuff that has got you clogged up. We got to get all that wringed out. So now you got a full dry sponge to absorb the new information, the new change, the new belief systems, the new morals and standards. All that got to be soaked in now. So when you get to a point when you're ready to wring that sponge out, you will do your work. You will do your work. If you don't wring it out, it's going to overflow. It's going to flow right on the other side of the sponge and fall right back in the sink, because it's not absorbing, because you're not ready. You got to be ready.
That's so true. And like you said earlier, you got to find that help, and you found the life coach that was able to help you and put you through that process. And as I was saying earlier, you have to have those coaches. And so I remember, and I was saying, I had all of these businesses, I was working on this. I'm telling you, Regina, I probably had about 2 or 3 or 4 businesses, that I was trying to work on. And nothing is wrong with multitasking, but you have to realize, is this really a part of your purpose, or are we just doing stuff to try to, make money and do this? And so he told me, you need to shut this one down. You need to do this, because you need to focus on really helping others, because that's where you call to be, and build your business around that. And you have to be comfortable in knowing that in order to go forward, you have to let some things go, because a part of your purpose is
I had to
letting
let
it
some
go.
stuff go this year. I know. And some of the things is so in my DNA, but I had to let it go because I have to grow me. And when I grow me, I'll be better to help that stuff later. Like I have to let stuff go so I could be that person, because I could be on a whole nother platform and I'm a whole nother level to help you now. I can still help you in a little sector. I can still, piece and give you little stuff. Give me a year. Just give me a year. I guarantee you I will help you in the ways that you never thought, if I can focus on doing what I got to do over here. And a lot of times when people mindsets are not there, they're not understanding that. They just think that you just letting stuff go because whatever the case is. But when you start doing your work, you don't care what people think, because you already know your mission. You already know what's in your head. You know what God already got in your head. And I see visions all the time of where I want to be and where I'm going to be. I can't do that if I'm doing all this little stuff. I gotta bring it in and focus. So I can get where I gotta go. And then I could help you in the ways that I could, even if it was money, it could be money. I could write a check like it was no big deal, or time. Now I have the time because now I've built these businesses up. So now I actually have more free time because my streams are working while I'm asleep. There's so many ways that I can help you, but I have to let stuff go to get there.
That's right. That's right.
All it is. It's not saying you're never going to do it. You just can't do it right now.
Right.
That's all.
That's so true. That's so true. And, you was talking about earlier that you had to realize that you needed help. Talk to the listeners about how important it is to seek help.
I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it because, like I said earlier, on the other episode,
yeah,
you could talk to yourself all day. You're going to sound great to yourself. You're going to sound great to your friends because they sound just like you. You're going to sound great to your mother because you got it from her. You're going to sound great to your aunt because she got it from their mother. You have to come out of that bubble of people that you deal with. And you got to start putting yourself in other mind, like people, mindset people. A lot of us, when we go through these changes, we get so caught up on trying to keep it real and try not to, and be that person that's down. Or you don't get me wrong, but like I said earlier, I can help you better later. I got to go. I'll be back, but I can't stay here with y'all. Like, we are so worried about satisfying everybody. You see what I'm saying? And when you satisfy everyone, you let yourself down.
That's so true.
So you can't do that. You got to say, this is for me. I actually had to do stuff this year that said, I can't do this because I can't. Why? Because I can't. I don't owe explanations. A no is a full sentence. Yes. I don't have to add. I'm telling you, for my well-being, I have to do this, or I'm doing this for me. Because I know I never done that in all my life. Never. This year was the first year that I had to tell people, no, you gonna do that? Why? Because I'm not. And they sit there and wait.
Right.
I was giving them answers before. So they're accustomed to me giving a rundown on why I don't want to do something. And when I cut them short now, they sitting there looking like, okay, you done? Yeah, I'm done. I'm not being rude, but I learned that I don't have to explain nothing to nobody.
Right.
If it's not hurting them, if it got nothing to do with them personally, I ain't take no money out your pocket. I ain't take a bill out you. I don't have to explain anything to you because I'm doing what's for me this time. I got to do what's right for me. And I shouldn't have to be apologetic for that at all. And people, it's funny enough that some of the people that's waiting for these answers, they do it all day long. They do it all day long. Yeah. They halfway do right. They don't really dare to support you, or they're not there when you need them. But when you do something to them, they sit in your face like, okay, why? Why can't you do it for me?
Right. That's so true. I was just telling someone this past week, I said, I was watching one of Oprah's Super Soul Sundays, and I can't remember who she was interviewing, but
yeah, I like it.
She was interviewing someone, and she said, I used to have to, I would tell people no, and I would give them all of these explanations about why I couldn't do it. And she said, why do we feel like we have to give an explanation? It's because we're trying to please people. We don't want to look bad, with that person and think we're cruel. But she said, I had to realize, no is no. And it's just, I have to, look out for myself. And I think that's so important. We have to be willing to say, no, I just can't do that. And realize you don't have to explain yourself, because early in the last episode, we talked about saying no is part of taking care of yourself. Saying no is a part of you. It's a part of being able to better yourself, because if you're trying to be there for everybody else, then you can never perfect who God has called you to be.
That's right. That's why getting help is so important. But getting help will scare you. It's scary. And when you get help, you're going to have to separate from someone. There's no way you're going to get through that without getting rid of somebody. That's not going to happen. Somebody's going to have to get out of there, because there's things that's happening that, just like I'll tell people, you can't have somebody on drugs and talk about, let's just stop by the crack house real quick. I just gotta go pick up somebody, come on inside with me. Like, that doesn't work. You can't, you can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta let things go. You can't go down that street no more. Some people can't even go in that neighborhood no more when they clean themselves up. And people are like, well, you clean, like, but they don't want even the temptation. They don't want to even see the house. They don't want to see where they was at. So you have the right to do that. You have the right to do whatever you feel is right to clean yourself up. And so if you have to let people go, when you do your work, it's easy. See, when you do your work, it's not as bad. It's a little challenging. It's a little challenging. I'm not gonna say it's not, but it's not as bad, because when you start putting yourself first and realize how important and valuable you are, you're not gonna really care too much, because you cared all this time. It's time for you to care for you now. You know what I'm saying? So when you start caring for you, you're not really, I'm not being rude or nothing, but it's my time. It's my time, and I'm gonna take it. And believe it or not, the people who give you the hardest time, usually the people who are not really invested in you anyway.
That's right.
They're not really invested in you anyway. Because I know that I had friendships, long-term friendships, that I was really doing all the work in. I was reciprocating. It was like I was doing the work. So when I let the ball drop, nobody catched it. And I don't think nobody really even know it's dropped, because they wasn't really invested in it anyway.
Right.
The only time they're gonna know it's dropped is when they need something, or they want to talk to you about something on their terms and their time. And then when you don't return it, that's when they're gonna start questioning you. Oh, I called. Why you didn't call me back? It's been 6 months. You didn't even realize I was gone. You didn't realize I was gone, because I'm not value to you. I'm just convenience. I'm just convenience. But I didn't know that at the time until I did my work. And when I did my work, I realized all these people you running behind trying to keep the friendships up, it's only time you see them is when you initiate the seed, or when you decide to go do it. But they don't do it for you. It's okay. I'm not mad, because I did that. That's another thing you got to realize. When you do your work, you got to take your blame. You can't just blame everyone else, because you allow that to happen. That's not their fault. They allow only what you allow them to do. And if you allow them to do that, then they did it. And they didn't do it to be malice or mean either. They just did what you allowed them to do.
That's right.
Everybody's not out there trying to get you. But if you come to my door with a lollipop, I'm going to take it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not stealing it from you. You're giving it to me. Why not take it? But when I stop coming to your door with a lollipop, then I'm going to be like, well, where's the lollipop at? Because now I'm thinking I'm entitled to it, because I'm used to getting it. And I forgot months ago, you were just being nice and gave me one, but you can't give me one every day. Now I'm conditioned to getting it. So as soon as you take that lollipop, I'm like, where's my lollipop? He's like, wait a minute, I was just being nice. But I'm used to it now. See what I'm saying? But that's all friends do sometimes. Sometimes it's not like they try to be mean or whatever, but they just used to you being a certain way.
That's
So when
right.
you take
That's
the
right.
lollipop away, they get mad now because they're like, well, what's the problem? You get
Uh-huh.
it before. And
Exactly.
I don't want to give it to you no more because I know my value and worth now. And I'm not just going to give you anything no more. You're going to earn my friendship like I had to earn your friendship. And if you don't think so, then we're not really friends anyway. So what's the big deal?
That's so true.
That's where you get when you do your work. That's how you get when you do your work. That's why it's very important to seek some type of life coaching in your life, at least once, just to see where you at in your life. Because you may not be where you think you at, or you could be so further along than where you at, but you don't check, you're never gonna know.
That's so true. That is so true. And it seems like, and I was thinking about that as well, you have to be able to get a coach, like you said, so you can check yourself and to see where you really are and to see, in the direction that you really want to go. Can you give us maybe a few more changes that you've made since you had a life coach after that?
Well, since I had did my work, and I learned to love myself, stand in my truth. And I actually, because my name is Regina. Regina means queen.
Wow.
And when I was going through my breakdown, I sat there and thought about it because my birth mother named me Regina. And my adopted mother allowed me to keep the name because she wanted me to have a connection to her.
Oh, wow.
So I thought about it and I said, my mother laid there in that bed for me she had me for 3 days of my life. And she named me Regina. And that means queen. There's a purpose for this name. My mother knew I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be there with you, but I'm going to give you a name that's going to carry you. And I want you to be this queen. Wow. I'm naming you this because I know that you're going to be a queen. I know there's a purpose for that name. So when I was going through the breakdown, I thought about it and I said, I'm not making her proud and I'm not putting on that crown the way she had gave it to me in 1970. I'm not wearing her crown. That changed everything for me.
Wow.
Because she gave me life. You know what I'm saying? She gave me life and she gave me a royal name with it, and I value that. And I said, I got to start acting like the queen, because she's not here with us no more. She passed away in 2007. So I didn't get a chance to meet my birth mother. But I know she's looking down and I know she's proud because I'm finally at peace and I'm finally understanding what my name means and I'm living by what Regina stands for. So in the midst of doing all that and wearing my crown and doing everything. So in 1 year, from the time I had my breakdown, a year later, I became a motivational speaker, certified life coach, talk show, podcast host, and an author, all in 1 year.
Wow.
All in 1 year. And I didn't become it. I was already it.
Right.
I just figured out what my past purpose was in that year. And everything just went like that. Fell right in line.
Yes. I'm going to take a second here and just, Regina, tell people about your book, because I want you to let them know about the book so they can get the book, because we may have some that are listening and has been adopted. And even if you haven't been adopted, I know a lot of people that, they don't live with their birth parents. They ended up going with their grandparents or even other family. So can you let them know about your book and how to get it?
Sure. My book is called Adoption, the Unknown Blessing, and it's about my journey and my adoption journey. So, of course, it starts off with my breakdown, as I described in the show, and it went through my breakthrough at the end as where I'm at right now. In the process of doing that, I was able to find my birth family in 1 day, and I found both sides of my family. My birth father's still alive, and he just called me like a little while ago. He called me every day. He called me every day. And I now in the discovery mode now, and that's a whole nother sector of adoption. A lot of us don't know about. We see all these adoption shows and you always see everybody hugging and finding each other and go, you're my brother, you're my sister, you're my child. And then the credits roll and then everybody go, well, they good. It takes time. Remember, you don't know these people, even though it's weird. It's very weird. Like adoption was made for a good reason. It was made for a good reason. I'm glad adoption is there, because who knows what happened to me if that option was not there for my mother to choose. Okay. So I love the fact of adoption, but adoption is so layered in so many facets of adoption. It's not just somebody gave you away. They didn't give you away. They placed you with another family. It's not that, you should be happy. You have somebody that loves you. What are you complaining about? It's not that. It's a void that you don't understand because you're not adopted. When you're not adopted, you don't understand the void that's missing. You can't even fathom why I feel. You can't. After talking to so many people that's been adopted, we all have a lot. And I did a show with 2 other adoptees. We all been divorced before. We all have validation issues. We have abandonment issues. We had self-esteem issues. We all had the same issues and traits. Because deep down, we know that our parents couldn't keep us. We know that we are raised without knowing who our family is and know our mannerisms, our traits. We know this, and it does play a factor on your life. There's no way around it. So when learning all of that, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna write a book, because now I learned it's not about me. I learned that this is about helping somebody else. And it did. It helped several people, many people. I was just happy to get one. I said, Lord, if they help this one person understand that they're not crazy. They're not crazy, because we're never taught this stuff. Nobody tells adopted kids, well, when you get adopted, there could be a possibility that your adopted parents, and thank God mine were nowhere. They were pushing me to go find them. And I was the one saying I wasn't ready. There's some adopted parents are very insecure. Like you was kind of talking about that a little bit, about the story you were telling me. They were very insecure because that's just their personality. That's just them. They think that when you try to find your birth parents, you're saying they didn't do their job. It got nothing to do with that. It's 2 different entities. It's 2 different entities. It got nothing to do with each other. You doing your job is beautiful. I love you. Got nothing to do with that. But if you have not been adopted, you don't know my feelings. You don't understand what I'm feeling right now. And I can't describe it, but so much. But I do want to find out where I'm from. You had that birthright. Most adopted parents are not adopted people. Most people, not all, because I'm actually adopted. I adopted my daughter. So I adopted and I've been adopted. So it's not a lot of us out there. But when you haven't had that, you got to put yourself in their foot, in their shoes, and give them grace and let them feel like it's okay to go find them. Don't let them feel like they got to wait for you to die to go find their birth family because they feel like they're not honoring you or something. That's crazy. That's crazy. If you adopt somebody, you did something that's a little unorthodox. It's not a normal situation. You didn't birth them. That day is going to come one day, and you need to get yourself ready. And that's the training they're not giving these adopted parents. They just giving them the kids and training them how to take care of them. And they do training too. But long term, I'm talking about long term, when that day comes, when they say, I want to find where I came from. Do they train them on that? They need to really get more up to date with that stuff, because I know a lot of people who are my age that's going to wait until their parents die before they go find their birth parents, because they scared that they're going to think that they don't appreciate taking care of them. And that's not fair. And that's not the truth at all. I really want to get that myth out and smash it, because that's not the case. My mother was so happy when I found my family, because she told me my mom's going to be 80 years old this year. And she said, our family's getting older. We're starting to die out. You was raised as an only child. I'm so happy now that I can leave this earth knowing you got sisters and brothers and you have a dad that's here. When I leave this world, you're going to have siblings that's here with you, that can help you, comfort you. You're not going to be by yourself.
Right.
See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. She knows, and don't get me wrong, she's human. I know that she's happy for me, but because she's human.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She's so used to me calling her mom all the time, and then all of a sudden there's another mom and there's another dad when my dad raised me. You know what I'm saying? So of course it's gonna be, but she stepped out her own way because she saw the bigger picture. And that's how much love she has for me. for me to know where I came from. And she see how happy I am to know where I came from. I gained 4 sides of the family. I got 2 on this side, I got 2 on the side. There's no subtraction, it's an addition. So a lot of adopted mothers and fathers out there, you're just gonna add family. It's no takeaway. Nobody's switching you off and saying, well, thank you, thanks for raising me, I'm gonna go over here with them now. That's not how it goes. You're just gonna have a whole nother set of people that's gonna love your child just like you did. That's all it is.
Yes.
Let them feel comfortable to go see and find out where they're from. If you was raised and birthed through your parents, give your child the same rights to find out where they're from. The same rights you got. You didn't give them no more, no less. Give them what you had. And if you think of it that way, you'll realize it's being selfish not letting them have that. Get out of your own way and your ego. Get out of your own way and let them have the birthright you was raised with.
That's so true. And listeners, make sure you listen and what she has said about that, because it's so important that you give them that right. Because like she said, we've all had that right. So they should be able to have that same right as well. And so for the listeners that are even listening now, it's important that whether you've been adopted, whether you've not been adopted, it's time for us to walk in our purpose. It's time for us to seek the help that we need in order to be who God has called us to be, and in order to help us to maximize our life potential while we're here on the earth, and not be concerned about what other people think about us. But the only person we should be seeking to please, and that person is God. He is the number one person that we should be seeking to please. And if we seek the help that we need through life coaching, through counseling, whatever it is, get the help that you need to be the best you that you could be, and to be able to fall in love with yourself. And I can't stress that enough. It's so important. Right. It's so important. So Regina, if there would be one main message you would leave with our listeners today, what would that be for them?
Why not you? Why not you? Why not you be the best person you could be? Why can't you be that person? Not everybody else. Why not you? You can live your best life if you just put yourself first and not worry about others. This is a new year, and this is the new year, right?
Yes.
It's a new year, new you. It's a great time to start. So that's what I would say.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being on again, Regina, and sharing with the listeners today, even on this podcast. So if you would let the listeners know again how they can get in touch with you, because I know there are listeners out there that want to get in touch with you and to find out more.
Please do. I'll be welcome. Definitely be welcome for that. So on Facebook, it's called Let's Talk 1943. IG is _talk 1943, and my website that everything is on will be www.letstalk1943.com. As you see, everything is the same. My book, Adoption: The Unknown Blessing, I do have a Facebook page for that. So it's Adoption: The Unknown Blessing. My book is found on Amazon. So you just type in Adoption: The Unknown Blessing, my book will come right up.
All right, listeners, you have that. Go and support her. Go purchase her book. Go to her website to find out more information. Thank you again, Regina, for being on today.
Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate you.
I've just really enjoyed both these episodes. And listeners, take it to heart. Take everything that's said today and live your best life. Let God be in you and let Him maximize your best potential, and don't leave this earth and go to the grave and leave things undone. Do all that God has called you to do, because you're worth it. And I believe that's what Regina was saying. You're worth it. Why not you? I love that. So you guys have a blessed day, and we'll look forward to being on the next episode again. God bless.
Good night.
Did you know that prayer affirmations could change your life? Speaking God's word over your life is a tested and proven method to manifest God's will for you. Dr. Tiffany Watkins has created a prayer affirmation book for women and men that combines prayer, meditation, and affirmations to help you achieve your goals and draw you closer to God. In this eye-opening book, you will be able to pray healing affirmations prayers, angelic visitation prayers, wealth affirmation prayers, wisdom affirmation prayers, and so much more. Biblical Prayer Affirmations for the Supernatural is a short but powerful read. It will allow you to set the right atmosphere for supernatural breakthroughs to occur. So get ready to pave the way for God's intervention by declaring these prayers over your life. Don't wait. Get your copy on Amazon today.